Good evening, internet peeps. It's Colin again. I'm afraid I've been a little bit waylaid recently with migraines, so they tend to hold me back quite often if I overdo it or strain myself in any way. So sorry I haven't done anything recently. I did promise a subscriber that I would show my Australian cars, especially the Holdens, so they're here. There's a few buses held over that I've missed. And there's some new Ray cars that a friend of mine, Jay, gave me, and a few customizations that I've done. So we'll start as the end of the bus video. This is probably my favourite bus, and how I forgot it I don't know. Vehicles that have an unusual set of wheels, well, number of wheels, interest me. And Bedford buses and Bedford trucks are my favourite of the large vehicles, especially if they're made by Corgi or Dinky. This is a very unusual bus because it has 4 steering wheels, which is very unusual for any vehicle. It does happen with vans, with lorries and buses. This says on the bottom it's a Bedford Val. I'm not sure the exact model of the bus, but it does say CFY 956C on the front, and the company is Smiths. It's got a little driver in there. 2-tone. See the livery there, Smiths on the side. All metal, this one. That's what makes it so obsessional with rubber tyres, but hard rubber tyres. Says England on the back there, Smith's Tours. There's got the repeat of the number plate there. Highly detailed. I was lucky enough to get this in the box at a reasonable price quite a while ago. It's because of the unusual wheels. That's what fascinates me about that one, and it's a Bedford. I hope you like that one because I haven't seen anywhere else. Absolutely fantastic bus. So glad I've packed that one in somewhere. This one I bought recently. It's some sort of like off-make HTI toys. So there you go. It's I bought this because it's a bendy bus. You get this some of the large Asian cities. It's of plastic construction at the base. You can see how it bends there. It's quite well made. I didn't pay a lot for it. I think I paid £1 for it, or maybe £2. I bought it from Transit Inland, it says on the front. Has got plastic operating doors, which are quite interesting. Rubber tyres. Actually got decals on the top. Transit Inland, not New York, 331. Yeah, an interesting bus. For that money, can't go wrong. As I say, I go for the unusual. With it being a bendy bus, I thought, oh, I'll have that one. Better quality than I thought for the price. This one isn't the best quality in the world. This is a Corgi with a plastic base, but this is a Greyhound, so I had to pick this one up. Euro Express. Well, I presume it's a Greyhound bus. It looks very similar to one. Made in Britain. Doesn't say exactly what bus it is, but looks a bit like a Greyhound bus to me. Not the best quality in the world, not the best wheels, but there you go. Another bus. Here's some. Now this will interest quite a lot of people. This is an early Matchbox one, a Greyhound bus. I've made these new decals for it. I've just started on my most recent project, which will probably be shown in the next video. I've actually started printing my own decals, and I've refurbed a Bedford Castrol van, which is Dinky one, which is quite rare, and I've made new shutters for it, so that's something for you to look forward to in the next video. I'm rather pleased with it. That's quite valuable because it's so old. I did have to open that one, I think, to adjust the wheels because the wheels didn't sit right, but it looks quite good now. Here's the more modern one. I showed the blue one, and I did say I had the orange one. Nicely done, as George would say. The orange is an exceptional feature to me. an early Matchbox one here. Just see if I can pick out which bus it is for you. It's a Daimler one. So that one, it's showing the worse for wear. It did have some SO livery on there. I don't think I'll ever redo that. I know it's in bad shape, but just one of those. Nice to have it. This is a nicer one on the other hand. This is a more modern plastic base Matchbox one. But what is also very unusual for this scale is it has rubber wheels. That's quite a good bus there, and that one is a, just says double decker. Doesn't say much about which bus it is. But not seen those for sale very often. Nice gold livery. Routemaster. Oh, it's a Routemaster bus. There you go. It says on the side. So it's a Routemaster, which is one that was used in London quite prolifically back in the day. Interesting wheels. They don't really look like the wheels you'd have in a bus, but still one of my favourite, probably my favourite at that scale. Here's another older but 70s Matchbox. Super fast. I presume that's a Daimler as well. Not in the best shape, but there you go, another bus. So I think I've shown you all my buses now. I did get through them eventually. Now to get on to a major part of this video, this is what I promised the subscriber. This is by a company called Trax, which I believe is an Australian firm. It's made in Hong Kong. It's all metal with rubber tyres, plastic grille, metal, and I did take this cover off, but it looks better with it on. Nice subdued green. You don't find many Holdens, not many people have made them, and I hope this pleases the subscriber, because I don't think I've ever seen this shown up close and personal on the internet. There is a few for sale. They usually come from Australia, which I'm not sure this one did. I think I picked it up from the UK. Very good quality. Nice little pickup. The only other one I've got is a 70s Matchbox one, and this is sort of like a racing one. Again, not that expensive, but they're getting harder to find, especially in good condition like this one is. I'm not sure if there's something missing off the back, but it's in relatively good shape. The tow hook's still there. Obviously these have got the super fast wheels and it's all metal. It's nice to have that in the collection because it's a Holden. Now this one I have shown before. See if I can pick out what it is. Gosh, that's so hard to read. It just says Holden. So there you go, another Holden, but this is this is quite a rare car, this Holden. It's the same one as the one from Mad Max, where he's with his wife at the beginning before she gets killed. But it does open. You can see inside there. It's got lovely detail. Plastic base. Unusual for the scale that the wheels actually rotate. I'm not sure if it moves the steering wheel. No, I know you only get that in life. But it's amazing at this scale. It has got independent suspension at the front there. Very interesting exhaust and spare wheel underneath. Lovely colour. Just an all-round great little van. Hard to find these. Very grateful I have that in the collection. This is an unusual one that I haven't shown before. El Camino, a Spider-Man one. I did pick this up fairly cheap. What is unusual about this one is it's got an opening hood. It's a Johnny Lightning. You just spotted it amongst other cars. You don't see them very often. It actually says first issue on the roof there. And a picture of Spider-Man on the bed. Here I can get you a better view inside the hood there. Oh, not easy with my arm. There you go. So not much detail in there, just all black mainly. But it is missing one of its hubs there, but I didn't pay a lot for it, so there's an interesting car. Now these are Falcons, Ford Falcons. This is a 73, a premium one. Particularly like the colour and decals of this one. Stripes on the bonnet, or hood I should say. It does say the capacity on the hood. GT 351, so whether that's cubic inches I'm not sure. But all metal, rubber tyres. Let's turn it the other way up in case you want to read it. There you go. Not had that one that long. It's a nice car. Here's the mainline one. In an interesting green livery with flames down the side. Plastic base on this one. I think it's the same year, but I'll double check. Yeah, it's exactly the same year, that one. So there you go, there's two. They haven't been produced that many times, but I think I've got almost all of them. An orange one. Interesting. Don't particularly like the wheels on that, but they do suit the colouring quite well. There you go, another one. This one's a Holden, a Johnny Lightning one. It's quite an early one because it's got plastic wheels and a metal base. So there you go, an interesting one of those. I haven't had that. Number 44. No hood. An interesting light blue interior. Fairly good wheels. It's one of those. It's not the best quality Johnny Lightning ever. It's got 44 on the roof there as well. But there's not many of the Australian cars that are made. This one is not a Holden, but I believe it was based on a Holden. This is called a rough Trex. It's a matchbox, but that's pretty much a Holden in my opinion. So there you go. That one's meant to have some sort of cage on the back, I think. It's missing. It actually says Brute on the hood as well, which is quite unusual. Fabergé Racing. I think I remember back in the day when Brute used to sponsor racing. It was sort of like a man's deodorant, amongst other things. It was quite big back in the day. You don't see much of it now. I think it is still going here and there. Here's an interesting Falcon, probably my favourite. Another premium one. Yep, 73 again. This is from the, is it first when it says that on the side there? I think it's some sort of racing symbol. But an interesting black and yellow livery, quite dark and menacing. Has got some decals in the front and the back. All metal. Rubber tyres. Nice car. I managed to get that fairly cheap because they're starting to go up in value, those. This one, although it doesn't look like a Falcon, it is. It's a Ford Falcon race car, it says on the bottom there. Interesting Xbox livery, which, in case you're not aware, for the other people, it's like a gaming station. And there you go, Forza it is. Forza Motorsport, that's what that sort of like livery stands for up to there. But I like the green and the Xbox on there. The wheels again, I don't like these wheels, but it does fit in with that overall look quite well. It's got a metal spoiler at the back, plastic base, plastic wheels, but a very interesting looking little car. Now these, the next cars, I'm very lucky to have these from Mariella, and these are all premium Hot Wheels. A Ford, let's just see, a 49 Ford cab over engine. This has got a He-Man Masters of the Universe livery. Have got another one of these. I think it might be a He-Man, it might be something else, where I've removed the box off the back and it's sort of like now got a flat bed. I would like a stake bed one, but I'm hopefully going to get one of those shortly. This is an American brand, I believe, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I managed to pick this up quite cheap because I don't think anybody wanted it, but hey ho, I quite like it. The wheels are good. Whether I use it for a wheel swap at somewhere along the way, I don't know, or just paint out this rear portion in another colour. I'm not sure quite what I'm going to do with that, but for the money, fantastic. This is another unusual one. Don't usually go for funny cars, but this is a He-Man, Master of the Universe. Read it up there. Cadillac funny car. I've got quite a few Cadillacs. Very unusual thing with the wheelie bars on the back there and the parachute. Interesting green. An interesting car. Not really my genre, but it's nice to see it because it's all metal like the other two were, apart from the rear. This obviously has the lift up feature because it's a funny car. These have real riders, as did the other two vans. This one is it a fancy van, is it called? There you go, Dream Van. It was something like that. This is Reese's. I don't particularly like Reese's. I'm not that fond of peanuts and peanut butter, so but I like the orange. I have got one of these Star Wars one with oh good grief, I can't think of the name of the lady now, but Carrie Fisher anyway, she plays the part. It's got her character on there. Lovely wheels. It quite suits that one, which is unusual to have an oversized wheel at the back, but you know what I like for orange. That is a great design van. Maybe not the most practical van in the world. Reminds me a bit of the Diora, but Reese's orange, all metal, nice. This next van, you do see plenty of these. Smoking grill. You see a lot of these in the main line, but I've never seen an all metal one. So it's got a wheelie bar at the back, which is unusual if it's got food in it, but there we are. Yes, you can see inside a little bit. It's got a roll cage over the driver, so it must be some sort of racer. Almond Joy, so perhaps that's some sort of American candy, I don't know. If I read that more closely, maybe it'll give a hint. It's got the exhaust at the side there, real riders. It's even got the engine sticking out the front. I'm not sure that's in the mainline ones, that feature. I'd have to double check. Definitely got the roof, and it has this feature here, but it isn't open. It isn't three-dimensional like this one is. It's an interesting one. This one, I believe, is quite rare. Most people in the UK won't have heard of Jolly Ranchers, but they're like a boiled sweet. I've sold them in the shops I've had during my working career when I could work. This particularly fascinated me. I can't find another one for sale. I particularly like VWs. Well, the square backs and the fastbacks fascinate me. I'd love to have one in real life. All metal construction. Real riders, but the Jolly Rancher thing, I've never seen Jolly Rancher on any other Hot Wheels. I hope my American viewers enjoy that one, because I don't know how rare it is, but I know I'm lucky to have it. Right, to finish off the video, because we're up to about 20 minutes now, my friend Jay very kindly brought these, and he brought 9 of them. Which was nice of him. He didn't really fancy them, so he was kind enough to give them to me, which is, well, it's too much really, but good grief, I've learnt from my experience that it's just as nice for somebody to give you something as to receive, so you're best off just saying yes, and it's just very generous of him. This is a 1966 Pontiac GTO. All these had too many flames on, in my opinion, so I've removed the decals. It's got interesting exhaust features there. They've all got plastic bases with real riders. Pretty well made. Interesting details. All convertibles. The next one is a Corvette. And let me get the year for the people that know about these things. That's a 1967 Corvette made in 1999. So that looks, it had sort of like gold flames on that. That looks plain, but it looks a lot better plain. It's got the interesting wheels on it. details at the back. You can see the fuel cap there. You can see the catches for the hood. Nice. That would look much nicer in blue. That looks very nice in the sky blue, that one does. And I have got a Johnny Lightning. It reminds me of Con Air. This one is an Oldsmobile, 1966. Nice, and sort of like a very, actually still needs a bit of buffing up there. And a very gaudy looking red sort of like decals on this. Looks much better plain. Oh, it's even got, it says Oldsmobile on the back. That's a nice detail. Nice car. Next one is the Bonneville, is it? Yeah, Pontiac Bonneville, 1957. This again had sort of like unnecessary sort of like still needs polishing up a little bit. Had sort of like blocks of colour which detracted from it. It was just overkill. But this has lovely fins and details on it. I've tried to do my best to not erase decals, because some of the white there is actually decal, but I'm trying to keep it interesting. Sort of like tri-spoke hubs there. Nice convertible. This one's a Mustang, but from the 90s, I believe. What is it from? What year? These are all 1 to 43. And that's 1994, that one. That had sort of like black flames on it, especially on the hood, and it just looked all wrong. And it looks, it's like black cars in my opinion. They tend to lose, you don't see the detail as much. Certain cars suit certain colours. The one I didn't remove is the Thunderbird. Now I believe that one's okay. That one's not as gaudy, and I think you'd lose a little bit if you did remove the decals from that. Very interesting spare wheel at the back, which sometimes is vertical on the Thunderbirds, but that one's at sort of like a slant. Which year is it? 56. I don't profess to be an expert on American cars. I do know what most of them are, but I'm not an expert on years and different designs from years to years, but I do love them. And that one I wouldn't tamper with. Another Oldsmobile here, I believe. Just double check. Yes, this is a 1970. There we go. I've left some of the decals on that as well. That's just down to personal taste. I think it'd look a little bit plain if I took them on the sides. It did have them on the hood, and I removed them because it looks better without, in my opinion. These are vastly improved now. I've removed the decals, but if you wanted to check online you can see them. But you've got some idea with the ones that are left on there. But it's nice just having them, maybe a few on certain hot rods on the engine portion, but you can take it too far. And last but not least is a classic Mustang, just all black. I've removed the decals from that. I don't know if that red hood exactly does it any favours. It probably looked better if it had a white interior and that was white, but whether I get round to doing that. They haven't highlighted the details on the back there, which is unfortunate. It's one of the nicer features, those sort of like 3 stoplights on the back of a Mustang, and obviously you've got the horse on the front there. Classic design, and that's why it lasted so long in so many different variations. Mustang is probably, of that era, one of my favourite cars of that era. Well, I hope you enjoyed those. Got through them pretty quick. Oh, a few more. Tell a lie. I'm forgetting. A few customs for you. This is one I picked up actually for free, believe it or not. It's a mainline, but I've given it premium wheels. It's a Baja breaker, of course, with orange interior, which I particularly like. It's now got a metal base, which you shouldn't have. It does still come apart. Sometimes if you're careful enough, you can drill the post and it'll still click shut. Obviously not suitable for children, but model makers it's fine. When I bought this mainline, it was broken, and basically I just wanted a little bit of a reduction because the wheels were broken at the back. Sometimes if immense pressure is put on the mainline wheels, they can pop out of their housing, and the only way to repair it is to go inside and glue the axle in place. But the seller just gave me all my money back, so that's fine. I was only looking for a small reduction. But sometimes, well, they didn't even discuss it with me. So basically, apart from the base, I did have to pay for the base, but I bought it with the two you can see in the background. I managed to pick up 3 for, I think it was £10 for Star Trek cars. The premium ones is very cheap. So I have got the unadulterated bar jar breaker, but I think that looks very good in its current form. It just looks right, and I love the Goodyear livery, so it might have been preferable to have the silver one, because there's a silver one, but I'm happy just to have one. This is a very heavy one that I think I might have shown before. It's a muscle machines one. It's a duck, and I like the wheels on this one, although it's not as it should be. I think it's fun. I have altered this one a little bit because it had sort of like where that looks like a window, it had sort of like exhaust coming out of there, and I thought it was a bit overkill. And I like that one. It's got I presume this sort of like hole in the back here, or indentation, is for the propeller. Very heavy casting that. Oh, my arm's killing me. This is another customization of mine. This says cast line, so I presume this is M2. Now, I'm particularly pleased with this one because this was a low rider. It's actually got some red detail on the engine in there, which is quite interesting. This fascinates me because it's orange, but it's a low rider, and I've changed the wheels and the stance of this pickup completely. You know I don't go for these low riders, but what I have started doing, if you get the right evergreen tube, and obviously all axles have different diameters, but I just glued and painted the evergreen tube under there so you can create a new housing. Hope that inspires somebody else to do the same. It's not that difficult, it just takes a little bit of patience and a little bit of know-how, and away you go. I'm rather pleased how that turned out. Looks a lot better than it did with low riders. This one, I was very lucky because a seller I bought from before sold it me quite cheap. I actually had a Mini Clubman when I was a young man. It was wasn't the first car I ever drove, but it was my first car, and it was two-tone brown with a light vinyl brown roof. I do remember the registration, but I'll keep that to myself. It's a Dinky, and I'm very grateful because I paid very little for this, but I've changed out the wheels, which I believe give it something. It just looks right, because the Minis had similar types of wheels to these. Not quite the same, a few less spokes, but nice. This isn't in immaculate condition, but it looks halfway tidy now. I've cleaned it up. Interesting. Maybe I'll paint in the lights and the registration plate there. All metal construction, and I've added real riders to this. It didn't have real riders in the first place, and as you saw earlier, the doors open. Many people are familiar with the Mini, but this is a Mini Clubman. It looks the same as the Mini 1275. The Mini started out as an 850, and that was the best engine. They also made 1000, which was quite reliable, but the Clubman was 1100, and the sport version, which is the 1275, was 1275. And because when you alter something isn't made for that purpose, they were unreliable. The 1100 and the 1275, the rings used to go all the time because it wasn't they'd messed about with the engine, 850s and 1000s were great, but take it from me, the 1100 and 1275 wasn't a good engine. And what a lot of the boy racers used to do, and a friend of mine did it, they took the engines out of the Mini Metro. The 1.3 Mini Metro engine was a much better engine, and often they changed them out for these. I don't know whether I mean, at the time I loved the square front of this, but I don't know. Perhaps the original round shape is cuter, but they were trying to relight the fire, as it were, in the market and do something different, and this is what they did. So perhaps some of the American viewers aren't au fait with that particular Mini. Okay, so that's a Mini Clubman. Is that a lot? Yeah, well, that's a lot. I've added in those customs and my back's killing me. I hope that was informative and the Australian cars would have interest to the subscriber who wanted it. Okay, take care and be careful. Bye.